There are a lot of different topics in astrology to learn. And one of the topics that's interested me for a long time is medical astrology. In this video, I'm going to talk about what that is and how it can benefit you. For those that are new to the channel, my name is Omar, the creator of blackastrology.com. And if you're already a subscriber, welcome back. Good to see you. Medical astrology is such a deep topic that covers the overlap between medicine, nutrition, and planetary energies. This topic covers everything from your diet to vitamins you might be deficient in, along with a whole other range of categories. But first, let me say that I feel very compelled, almost like a desire to say that I am not a doctor in any way. I actually have zero medical knowledge, and all of the information in this video is just for entertainment purposes. In fact, I know as much about medicine as my boy Leo over here.
Do you concur?
Concur with what, sir?
With what Dr. Ashland just said. Do you concur?
Well, it was a bicycle accident. The boy told us.
So you concur?
Concur?
I think we should take an x-ray, then stitch him out and put him in a walking cast.
Very good, Dr. Ashland. Very good.
Yes, I concur. So with that being said, let's start with the fact that each sign and planet rules a specific body part. Now, let's start with Aries, for example. Aries rules the top of the head, the eyes. Taurus rules the neck, the throat, the larynx. Gemini, the shoulders, arms, hands. Cancer rules the stomach. Leo rules the heart, the back, and the spine. Virgo, the intestines or the digestive system. Libra, the lower back and the kidneys. And Scorpio, I'm sure you can guess, rules the genitals. Sagittarius rules the thighs, the legs. Capricorn rules the bones, the skeletal system, specifically the knees. Aquarius rules the calves and ankles. And Pisces rules the feet. But it's also important to consider the why and the how astrology plays a role on your health. It's worth a moment of deep thought to really understand that a lot of disease starts in the mind or in the mental state. And what do I mean by that? For example, too much mental or emotional turmoil can manifest itself as anxiety or nervous energy. And all this nervous energy can really take a toll on your body. And it's well known there's a close tie to high levels of anxiety and the detrimental effects it has on the body. Astrology really shows our mental disposition, how we think, how we react to our circumstances. And these reactions and these thoughts can have a physical manifestation. So it's not hard to see how, for example, if you have too much worry or you're focused on something that's really bothering you and how that anxiety of a certain outcome can build up in your body as tension or back pain or muscle pain. So that's the physical manifestation that we're talking about when we discuss astrology. Medical astrology is really useful in providing you with awareness. Looking at your chart, it will help to illuminate some of those areas or illnesses you may be prone to or have a predisposition to. For example, let's take an illness such as hyperparathyroidism. The parathyroids are ruled by Saturn, and hyperparathyroidism is when there's an overactive parathyroid gland. So you're looking at the gland ruled by Saturn, which produces calcium in the blood, right? Saturn rules the bones, calcium, structure. And then you're looking at an overactive parathyroid. So you're essentially assuming that maybe that Saturn in your chart is being activated by a planet like Mars or Jupiter. Jupiter tends to expand. And in fact, the overactive parathyroids are usually caused by a growth of the parathyroid glands in the back of the neck, which overproduce calcium. So this is an example of how, looking at your chart, you may see if you have Saturn afflicted by Mars or Jupiter, how that can manifest as an illness in the body. Another example would be anemia, which is the red blood cells' inability or lack of ability to carry oxygen to the other parts of the body. The most common type of anemia is caused by a deficiency of iron in the blood, which when you think about Mars being the red planet, right? Why is it red? Because there's a high concentration of iron on the planet Mars, which then oxidizes and turns red. So there's some symbolism there for you as well. Having anemia can make you feel fatigued, tired, or even just overall lethargic. That's really the opposite of Mars, the warrior, right? Aries. And what we're looking at here is essentially when Mars is not in a position of power in the chart. It's being afflicted by another planet. And typically that usually involves one of the outer planets like Saturn. Your bone marrow, ruled by Saturn, needs iron, ruled by Mars, to make hemoglobin. And it's the hemoglobin that transports the oxygen to the cells in your body. This is why you can understand how an affliction to Mars by Saturn can cause an illness like anemia. Also, afflictions to Mars may be as benign as maybe you need glasses or contacts like I'm wearing right now. Some of this might seem obvious, but again, medical astrology is about the awareness. If you're born with these aspects in your chart, it serves as a baseline for what you might be predisposed to. For example, if you have strong Gemini influence in your chart, whether you're a Gemini sun, moon, or rising, you may want to stay away from things like smoking cigarettes because Gemini rules the lungs. So when you think about medical astrology, you have to consider some of the things that you should avoid in your life. Forming healthier habits. Transits can have an effect on your health as well. Usually when you have a faster moving planet like Mercury, the moon, transiting your natal chart, and they form a tough aspect, it may manifest itself as a headache or a cold, something that goes away in a few days. But if there's a slower moving planet transiting your natal chart, like say Saturn or Neptune or Pluto, those illnesses may manifest itself as chronic illnesses. Because those planets take so much longer to transit the chart, they may be with you for years, if not the rest of your life or your whole life. Overall, the idea of medical astrology is not to self-diagnose. It's used as a tool to understand yourself, your own predispositions. Be aware of what eating habits you should gravitate towards, what habits you should stay away from. And if through studying your chart, you realize that there is a higher predisposition for type 2 diabetes, you may want to stay away from foods with high sugar content. You want to take more control of your diet to avoid developing an illness such as that. And ideally, what you're looking at is ways to sidestep those illnesses. And ultimately, your doctor should be the one to be diagnosing and treating you. Astrology should be used as a tool to make lifestyle adjustments. Think of it like a homeopathic solution. Western medicine is really good for treating illnesses, but they may tend to only treat the symptoms and not necessarily the root. And homeopathic solutions treat the root cause, but may take a long time to resolve itself. So you really have to have the patience to put forth the energy to, take the specific vitamins as dictated by some of your planetary influences. Astrology is a great tool because it helps you to make less excuses. If you see something in your chart, that means you can avoid it. You can make the right decisions. If you know better, you do better. At least that's what should happen. And one of the reasons why I love astrology is I just find it so fascinating that depending on the time and place of your birth, you could end up like LeBron or Mr. Glass. I mean, that's just crazy to me. So again, this video is not medical advice. I'm just gonna make that very clear. But I would love to hear from you in the comments, especially if you are a medical professional. And if you're a medical professional that likes astrology, that makes me even more interested in hearing your take on all of this. Medical astrology is a very unique specialty of astrology that requires years of study, and it requires years, if not decades, of medical experience. And it's in my experience that if you are a medical professional, a doctor, you may not subscribe to astrology at all, which makes it hard for you to find doctors that understand that there's planetary influences that can affect you. But if you are in that very small subsection where you understand anatomy and physiology as well as astrology, I think there's a very unique opportunity for you to really help change some lives. So I hope you enjoyed this video. As a follow-up, I plan to do another one that talks about each sign and the specific diet or nutrition that is suggested for those signs. So like and subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more videos.